Starting. All right. I guess we're live here.
All right.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is something new that I've been pondering in my mind. I wanted to do some interviews with some people and just basically get to know the YouTuber out there. I kind of want to keep it short. I don't want a really long chat. Just some simple questions and maybe some comments from everybody. Just to get to know a certain YouTuber. So today I've chosen John, the MI Woodsman. How are you doing today, sir?
Rather well. I can't complain. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. And like I said, this is my first real interview, so um, you guys don't
Well,
criticize me too bad.
it's my first two, so hopefully I'll do all right. I'll be able to answer.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start maybe interviewing a few people. People can send me messages of who they want interviewed. I'm not the best interviewer in the world, but we'll see how this one goes and see what kind of response we get out of it. So, first off, is the question that everybody has, and getting into YouTube. How did you get into YouTube? And a lot of the everybody starts out with watching videos. But how did you get into creating a channel and making videos of your own?
Well, like you said, I watched YouTube for years, like you said, and then I don't know. I stumbled across this channel that says bushcraft, and I've never heard of bushcraft before. That was a new term for me. And I clicked on it, and I said, these guys are camping and roughing it, and some of them's glamping a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta do that. It looks like fun. Maybe I can record something, be something for my grandkids to look at when they grow up, or as they grow up. Kind of like a little library of their grandpa, or for my kids. And I just started out into it, and got had a handful of subs. I was just blown away when I had like 5 or 6 subscribers to my channel, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to make some more videos. And here I am now. It's amazing the people that you meet on here. There's so many of them. It's unbelievable. But that's basically what got me into it. Is I seen the thing bushcraft, and I've always liked that sort of stuff.
So now, for people that don't follow your channel all the time, you did have a break in a channel. You had a channel um, deleted, or what was that about?
Yeah, so that was about a year. This past November, a year ago, I lost my channel. I had 322 subs, and I had probably 45 videos or so. And yeah, I lost a lot of good content that I wasn't able to bring back. Google has no, or YouTube has no customer support worth of beans. So I ended up, I took the MI Woodsman and turned it into the MI Woodsman. So I kind of keep the same name for my channel. And then I just heard it all over again, looking for all these people that I was sub to, and kind of spreading the word and asking for their help. And they helped me out. And I guess that's why I liked helping them back. Until the day, I still like helping other people out. I mean, that's just the way I was raised. But yeah, that was a bummer deal, man. I'm telling you, when I lost all my friends, and who knows if I got every one of them back again. Because there's people from everywhere, and if you don't see their video from somebody else's feed, you got to try to remember. Let me see, how am I going to remember 322 people I've never met in real life before? You know, so it was a big stumbling block there for a while, but I overcome it. Here I am. I seem to be doing okay. People seems to like my videos for the most part. All my friends do anyway.
Exactly, exactly. It seems like you made an awesome comeback, an
Yes.
awesome comeback after that. And I think some people are kind of a little curious or afraid of losing their channel too.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but let's start out with I'm getting questions in the feed and I'm writing them down, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But let's start out. Tell us about your childhood and where you grew up at.
I grew up in northeast lower Michigan, which is total opposite of where I'm at now, about 150 miles northeast of where I'm at now. And if you look, let me see, it would be that one. If you look at the Michigan map, I'm down here now, because, yeah, down here because you're over here. And I was up here on the
Okay.
coast, on the sunrise side of the state, over by Tawas. I grew up in that area, Prescott, Ogama County, West Branch. That's where that Tanger Outlet Mall is, and all that way up north. And I was about an hour and 40 minutes from the Mackinac Bridge, so it wasn't too bad.
So, growing up as a kid, um, did you, I mean, was there schooling in your childhood? Did you have a good childhood? Were you outdoors? I mean, what did you do as a kid?
Oh, as a kid, it was all about outdoors when I was a kid. I was born in Bay City, and then when I was 7 years old, first grade, we moved to up north. We called it. We had my mom and dad had a mobile home, and that's where we ended up moving full time. And that road was a two-track with grass down the middle, and it was middle. I mean, there was no paved roads, no town. The main road was gravel. There's to this day, there's still no stoplight. And we grew up with our bicycles and going down the Silver Creek, which was only about 100 yards from mom and dad's house. Me and my buddies would always go down to the creek and hang out. Then we'd go down, ride our bikes down to the Rifle River, which was like the Manistee River. And we lived on the river. We built forts and campfires, cooked and ate food. And then back in like 73, 74, 75, I was in Boy Scouts. It just so happened my scout leader was like 4 doors down in the street over from me, and I was best friends with his son. So we always got all the gear to use. You know, his dad had all the gear. We wanted to go do something. We had all the gear to take with us, because we never had a lot. We had a lot. We had a lot of love in our family. My mom and dad, brothers and sister, but we. My dad worked like a dog for pennies on the dollar, so to speak, for years and years. It was always tight growing up. We never had a whole lot. Like I said, I don't think I ever owned a new bicycle when I was a kid, but we always made do with what we had. You know, we had to. We didn't have cable TV. We didn't have microwaves. We didn't have a color television. You know, that's the old school. And our thing was to, if it wasn't raining and muddy out the door we'd have to go because it was raining and muddy out. My mom says, "You ain't going outside tracking in." Well, it was pretty good because we usually kept our nose clean for the most part, and we'd come and go when we pleased. Even through school nights, we'd be out till 9, 10 o'clock. They didn't care because they knew that we were minding our P's and Q's, hanging out with our buddies, and like I said, riding our bicycles all over town and down to the river and down to the creek and just hanging out. That's all we had to do back then. We didn't have, like I said, we didn't have video games and stuff like that when I was a kid.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I picked this up at. It started out when I was young, before Boy Scouts, and I've been doing on and off all my life, you know, for years and years. Then when I seen the bushcraft thing on YouTube, it was like, hey, this reminds me of old times. I'm gonna have to check it out. And so here I am.
You know, I think a lot of my bushcraft stuff comes from Boy Scouts. I mean, making pot hangers and building shelters and doing first aid and doing all that stuff. I mean, it kind of, it was Boy Scouts for me. It wasn't bushcraft until I seen it
Yep.
on YouTube.
Yep.
And
I had all the old merit badges and the medals on my belt for first aid and fire starting and shelter and fishing and hunting and the whole gamut.
Yeah, yeah. And when we went out to play, our mothers didn't care. They were like, they sent you out there, and if you had to stay inside, you were punished. You know.
Oh yeah, you were definitely.
And nowadays, it's like my kids, you got to kick them in their butt to get them to do something outside. You know.
Oh yeah, it's
It's all.
even it's sorry,
Go ahead.
like the grandkids, they got their own iPads and their cell phones already, and they're not even teenagers. And when they all come over, I can forget about my computer because my bandwidth is ate up with. And they're 3 years old, a couple of them, and they know how to operate the iPads and watch movies, cartoons. It's amazing. But they don't go outside. I haven't seen any of my grandkids make a snowman yet this year. And that was us, man, building forts, snow forts, have Dad plow the snow up in a big hill so we could dig out an igloo. Have a little fire inside, a couple candles or something for light.
Yeah. My not to get off the subject, but we took Gage out bowling last night, and then we drove to Lake Michigan. And Lake Michigan is froze out to like miles out or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
And we, Missy and him made snowmen. And I videotaped it. I couldn't get it. It was still dark, but him and
yeah.
Missy were making snowmen, and it's like, that's like what we used to do when we were kids, and that really
Oh,
reminded me of that.
back in the old days when you used bread bags inside your boots and you wore socks for mittens.
Yep, yep, yep.
All your
And
gloves were wet.
several pairs of socks because they would get wet really fast.
Yep.
So from our childhood, we uh, we develop into our teenagers, and so tell me a little bit about your teenage years.
Oh, let's see here. That's
This
a
is
good
probably about the most interesting, I think, of interviews.
one.
The teenage years. What did you do? Did you have long hair? I mean,
Oh yeah, I had the old part down the middle with the feathered hair on the sides, and that 70s, early 80s look. Uh, did my school thing, graduated. Um, always had a nice car. My dad was a body man, painter, combo guy, and he was one of the best in the state. Matter of fact, he got the best paint job award from Lincoln Mercury for body man in the state of Michigan. So whenever I'd have a car, Dad, that's where I learned. I was pinstriping cars when I was 12, 13 years old with my dad because I grew up around it. I could fix a dent, fill a rust hole, weld up a rust hole, all that sort of stuff when I was in my teens.
yeah,
So I always had a nice car. Um, yeah, I had my share of times where local cops would chase me and they couldn't catch me because I was like the dirt road warrior up there. And
road warrior.
the next night I'd be sitting at home with dinner with Mom and Dad, and old Officer Junior would pull in and come on in and sit down because they knew my mom and dad and say, John, you got to slow down. I can't keep chasing you because I can't catch you. And I bet you he pulled me over, without exaggerating, 20 times in my teens. Never give me a ticket. Always pulled me out of the car and had a talk with me. John, you need to be careful, la-di-da-di-da. All that la-di-da stuff to you when you're a teenager. But what was important now as we are adults. But, oh yeah, I was a party animal, and we had fun. I had a good teenage years. I had a lot of friends and never had a problem with anybody. In the fighting department, I've had a couple scraps, but after that, it was pretty much set that they don't want to mess around too much. And yeah, we just had a good teenage life. Had your parties out at the bowl and go to the football games, go up to the drive-in theaters, and just hang out, jump in a car and drive to Mackinac Bridge for something to do with your buddies and party. And it's your typical And I worked. I started working when I was 14 and a half. I had to wait for my working papers, as a matter of fact. And my first job was working in a convenience store slash fruit market. That was my first job I ever had. And then I went to a grocery store where I kind of assistant managed it when I was at the ripe age of like 17, and used to watch over the bakery and the meat department, and stock the shelves and clean the store and everything but run the cash register because I wasn't old enough to sell alcohol. But always worked, man. I worked probably 34, 35 years of my life, and been on my downswing now because of my other deal. But yeah, it was a good childhood, good teenage years. Like I said, I had a lot of good friends. We did our surf camp, and we'd go to the river. We'd go up to Oscoda, up to the dam, steelhead fish, and caught a lot of catfish. Just two, three of us load up the cars, one car with a tent and some gear, and we'd all go and think nothing of it, just hardly anything that we'd have like we have today with us. We were so unprepared, it was terrible, but we still had fun doing it, though. We always come home safe and had a good time, and never ended up in the clink.
Yeah. Hey, and it reminds me of my teenage years. We'd go to the river and fish, and we were unprepared for anything, so we were burning everything out of the car. There'd be like a bag or a box of something. We were trying to get a fire started. It was everything from like papers and a bunch of bull crap and everything. But we all had fun. I mean, we were teenagers.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to take a few minutes to say hi to everybody that's in the chat room. Let's go back here. Mutt NC, hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Joel Sweatman, thank you, sir, for joining us. Who else we got here? From Urban to Country Homestead. Then we have, who else we have in here? Trying to 12 gauge double aught buck.
Oh, Randy,
Mr. Randy, it says Daryl is famous, and if you have me on your Facebook page, you know what that was all about. Team Extreme Michigan, hi, fellow Michigander, how are you doing? Willie Bailey is in here. Frog 360, and as far as the comments, I think that is pretty much all we have for the comments there.
Yeah, I think so.
So go ahead.
Nope, I was just checking. I just said my howdies to everybody that I missed so far. It's different. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to keep up. You're trying to chat and keep your mind on topic, and then you gotta. I don't want to leave people in the side chat out because I know what that feels like. So.
Yeah, and then I'm keeping an eye on the side chat. So, the next one is your transition from teenage to adult to where you are now. What are the hills or mountains that you've had to endure until up from your teenage till now?
That'd be like a Pike's Peak question there.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I'm just saying. No, that could be a long story.
Yeah.
After my teenage years, I met my kids' mom. We went to school together. Actually, before that, when I turned 18, I moved to Florida, South Florida, with my brother. Lived in Miami for about 6 months, and then we moved up to West Palm Beach, buried telephone cable down there, and paved roads for a living. And then I come back to Michigan, met my kids' mom again, and ended up moving back to Florida and getting married down there. And we were married for like 8 years, and then and lived down in West Palm Beach for like 8 years. which was good. I like Florida, but it's a nice place to visit, but I don't think I'd want to live there. And from there, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for a year. Followed my brother and his brother-in-law, which is our supervisor, to go work for another Southern Bell company for burying phone cable in Charlotte. And that didn't last very long. Then we moved back to Michigan, and then I got divorced, and things wasn't so cool, and ended up moving to Illinois, LaPorte, Indiana. I'm sorry, LaPorte, Indiana. And I don't know if there's any LaPorte, Indiana people out there, but that was one cesspool of a town.
So you were a FIP at one time.
Pardon?
You were a FIP at one time.
Yeah.
That's FIP. That's a Southwest Michigan call FIPS.
FIPS.
The fucking Indiana people.
Yeah, I wasn't there long, and then I went from there. I moved to Montana, and I lived in northwest Montana up by US 2, not far from US 2, up by the Yak, and that's where I met some good friends, and one was a guide. He had donkeys, mule teams and everything. They go to mountain ranges. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot of stuff the year I was in Montana. He was a professional guide. And
man, I bet you Montana was beautiful.
it's the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. I can see why they call it the Big Sky Country. I think they should call it the Wow State, because you look out your window and you just say, wow. I mean, I looked out my dining room window when I lived in Montana, and I lived 50 miles south of Glacier National Park, and that's all I could see was Glacier National Park out of my front window of my house.
Wow.
All the snow-covered glaciers, and that was really cool. Did some mule deer hunting. I wasn't successful, but we went out, we camped, and had a camper and stuff like that. And we had all the gear, the chainsaw, the extra gas, battery, all the everything you could think of, because you're way out. I mean, I got lost for about 8 hours. Good thing I had a compass. I found my way back. My buddy, he had to shoot his rifle off because he was lost, and I was going down the ACM road with my truck, honking my horn every so often. And then he finally got a place to cross the creek because he didn't want to spend the night with grizzly bears. And then I moved back to Michigan, and then I met my wife Susan years later. I worked up north for a farm tractor dealership, and sold parts. I was a parts, and then I ran a Napa store. I was a parts manager at a Napa store. So I sold parts probably half my life, and the other half of my life it was body shops and burying phone cable in the ground. And yeah, it was. I was busy. I had a lot of different jobs, different states. Of course, you move, you're going to have to get a new job. And we moved with the ex. We moved 7 times in 7 years. So that was, I'm sorry, 7 times. More than 7 times in 7 years. So that was a big hodgepodge. What a relationship that was. But on the brighter note, I met my wife I have, and we've been together 8 years, and things are awesome, and I couldn't ask for a better woman. We do a lot of things. She likes going out in the woods. She likes to fish, which I haven't been fishing with her, which I feel bad, but I will be getting my fishing license here in a couple of weeks, another week or so, and I'll be set for my fishing license this year.
Yep, do it after March.
Yeah.
No, we got a 2015 license, so. Man, it sounds awesome. She also loves dropping you off places and picking you up, too.
Yeah, she'll meet me. She'll drop me off somewhere, and then I'll say, okay, pick me up Sunday at noon, and she'll be there. I'll be sitting on a picnic table up by the wall where you parked your truck when you came over, and at the camp place, and she'll pick me up, and home we go. But yeah, I can't wait to get back out there. But yeah, I had a pretty adventurous adulthood, I'd say. I had a lot of different places I lived and met a lot of nice people from all different ends of the country. It was Montana. I drove taxi, worked at a quick lube oil change place and worked at a auto sales, buy here, pay here place, all at the same time for the same guy. So when there's a taxi call, or I used to run Medicab, I used to take people from Big Fork and Poles in Montana and take them down to Missoula, which is the where the big hospitals and stuff are, the state college, the Grizzlies. And I'd take them down there for 4 hours and they'd get kidney dialysis done, and then I'd take them back home. Most of them were Indians. Uh, One was handicapped, mentally handicapped. I'd have to be careful and watch him, take care of him good, bring him to his therapy and his counselor. And that was a pretty cool job. I met some pretty good people. And seen really hard times, people, houses that wasn't 5, 10 years old, some of these Indians, and the windows are all knocked out of them and the curtains are blowing out the windows, and just a rough way to live, man.
Mm.
But we didn't have a speed limit. That was a plus. I remember running my taxi 110, 120 out to the Silver Spring to get a client one day when I was running late. That was cool because you could always run 80, 85 all day long and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. And when you're on a flat, straight road, you really don't notice the speed.
No, no. You do in the mountains, though, I tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
Make up one side and fly down the other.
Yeah. Well, the next question I got is, I think you kind of answered it a little bit with your younger years, but is what got you into the outdoors? And I'm thinking that your childhood growing up in Michigan and being a rural town and being in Boy Scouts, that it pretty much forces somebody to have an outdoor background.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I started it, like I said, when I was young. So, well, riding bikes, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever, and from riding around to the neighbor's house to venturing new adventures off to the river or down to the creek. Or back then, we would hope the swamp would flood so we could get to we did have a motorcycle snowmobile dealership back in the 70s in that little town, believe it or not, and they get these big styrofoam things that the bikes would come in, and we use them for floats. We'd hope the swamp would flood. We could get out there on them with a stick, and we'd float all over the place and build forts out there. And yeah, it was just growing up. That's what I did growing up. I liked the outdoors. I did my fair share of small game hunting. I did a little bit of deer hunting. I wish I could do more of it, but I'm not going to hunt on state land. It's just too dangerous for me. If I had some private property, it'd be a different story. But there's too many trigger-happy buck fever guys out there.
That is awesome, John. I think that me and you had similar childhoods, really similar childhoods. Growing up here in the Winter Wonderland, remember?
That's
Winter
right.
Wonderland. Before it was,
the Great Lakes State.
yeah, before it was pure Michigan.
Pure Michigan.
I wanted to take a minute. We have Briar Goat Killer in here, and there was a couple questions that were out there that I jotted down, and one was from Joel Sweatman, and he asked, "What do you think your favorite video is?"
Of my own or somebody else's?
I believe of your own.
My favorite video? Boy, that's a good question, Joel. I would have to say one of my favorite videos, my favorite video, honestly, is when we all went camping together. I have to say that would be my favorite video because that was the best time I've had since I've been on YouTube.
Really?
Yep.
That was an awesome time for me too. That was epic for me. It was.
I have to say, between you and Timberwookie and meeting you guys in person and doing the thing I love to do the best, being out there, that, and as well as you do, and yeah, I wish it would have been I wish it would have been at least a 2-nighter, because one night was just, we were up till 3 o'clock in the morning just talking and campfire chat, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and we heard a Bigfoot too.
Yep, we
Yeah.
heard that.
I don't care what anybody says. It was a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Remember
had,
what says it
it,
was a fox, but it was a Bigfoot.
yep, it had to be between that and me and Lumberman 2011's 3-day 2-nighter. That was a lot of fun too. I'd have a hard time choosing because that was another good time. Anytime when you're with friends, man, that you meet like that, it's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I had my solo overnighters, and I go on my hikes when I was able to. Um, they're all fun and all, making videos, doing support videos out in the woods for folks. But when you got company and like-minded friends with you, it's a blast. See how you do things your way, or how Wookie did things his way, and how I do it my way, and it's interesting. Get a lot of different points of view.
I think Willie Bailey said hi. Willie
Hey,
Bailey said hi.
hey,
And
Willie.
I think earlier he asked how many videos that you had, but myself, I really wouldn't know that. You'd have to go to.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I'd have to look. I probably got. I know I'm under 100 videos, completed videos. I'm probably, geez, I don't even know what to guess. I'll be honest with you. My thing says like 145, but that's because I'm a dummy and I don't know how to edit. Period. Nada. None. Zero. So every time I shut my camera off and fire it back up to take my next scene, I got to load each one of these parts individually up to YouTube, and then I got to put them together on Video Creator. So there might be 4 or 5 different vids to one video that's on there still that I didn't throw away because I was going to save it for maybe some type of editing later.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody that's showed up so far. SKS, Hugo, I believe that is. Um, if there's people that didn't join the beginning of the channel or the beginning of the chat here, interviewing John the MI Woodsman, and this is something that I'm beginning to do, and please don't slam me too down about my interview skills because I have none. So, um, you know,
Yeah,
but
my it's just,
this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to go through and pick out some people that people watch and enjoy the channels that they enjoy, and maybe interview them and just get some background on them, have some fun, have a chat. So, all right, we'll go on to the next question here, bud. What is your favorite outdoor activity?
oh, it's gotta be my favorite. It's gotta be bushcraft and camping. It's gotta be my favorite by far, hands down. That's my favorite thing to do. I get into the woods. I'm like a like changes my life when I step out of my truck and get into the woods. It's like a whole other world to me. It's just so peaceful and quiet. I don't even have 9 times out of 10. I don't even have a cell phone. I don't even own a cell phone of my own. So just be careful and watch your step and take your time. And I just love the outdoors, man. Anything to do with, especially I mean, you can sit there all day and make videos and do bushcraft crafts, pot holders and pot hangers and this and that. That's fun. But you can only do so much of that, and everybody's doing it, and everybody's done it. It seems like I like to get out there and relax and enjoy God's country, man. That's the way I look at it. That's got to be my favorite.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And before the bushcraft, because I mean, I don't know if you're with me, but like I said, bushcraft is kind of new to me. I mean, the actual word of it, it was always Boy Scouts or camping, is what we
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
that's what we
So
call.
yeah, but
Yeah, bushcraft's been about 3 years for me. The term bushcraft.
And obviously, you know, when you get into bushcraft, the video, I mean, people's videos on YouTube are just amazing to me
Oh
because
yeah,
I take them things when I go camping, and I'm like, hey, let's do this, let's try this, you know, let's
yeah. That's the fun of it.
yep, that's the fun of it is learning from other people on the YouTube and applying it to what you do outdoors and everything.
Yeah, I
It is,
got a few things I want to do when I get out there that I've seen other guys, projects that they've done, simple things like a lean back chair and that Joe Ronette made, and he's got some good, really good quality videos.
yeah, yeah, love it,
But
love it, love it. So, are there other hobbies other than the outdoors and bushcraft that you like to do?
I used to be really big into Harley Davidson for quite a number of years until I had to sell my bike a couple years ago. Family needed it more than I needed it, so we sold the bike and bought a car and a truck and some groceries and took care of some other things we had going on. I loved my bike. I miss it dearly. It was a custom from one end to the other. It was wicked, wicked fast, and me and the wife had a lot of good times. A lot of nice bike rides to the west side of the state, go all the way up along the water, on them real hot summer days. And then I was president of an off-road club up north called Northeastern Rough Riders, and I was into building Jeeps. I built probably 4 Jeeps from the ground up. I mean, my last one was a TJ, newer, not the new style, but the past style. Um, Loved my Jeep. I had 9,000-pound winch, onboard air, the whole 35-inch tires, 8-inch suspension, um, cage. I had it all. It was Detroit lockers. I mean, I put my own lockers in the differentials and put my own new suspension on it, new coil springs. I like building trucks. It was one of my passions, but that kind of relates around with my dad working in the shop all them years, 'cause when I was a little guy, we had a gas station in Bay City when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and that's where I hung out when I wasn't in school, was with Dad at the gas station. So that started out at a young age too. So, but yeah,
You also have a little passion for woodworking too.
yeah, yeah. And I'm on hold right now because I have no heat in my shop, and it really sucks. Because I'd like to get out my lathe, and I wanted to do some little extra things on some saws. And I got a couple. I owe a couple people some saws, and they know who they are. And I'm sorry I haven't gotten to them, but I can't work outside when it's in the teens and and run the equipment like that. It's just not good for anything. The wood's not the same. It holds moisture, and it takes all the fun right out of it. But yeah, I enjoyed making a lot of things for my grandkids: cradles, high chairs, rocking chairs. I made my buddy a rocking chair, a high back rocker for his wife for Christmas one year. Turned out beautiful. Made it out of oak and teak wood. I laminated it. Toy trucks, box sets, toy boxes, boot boxes, coat rack, you name it. Just whatever I could think of or see on YouTube. And I'd say, hey, I can make something like that and put a twist on it. I never use directions. I never use blueprints. Everyone's different just a little bit. And hopefully come springtime I can fit that back in and I can start doing some more because I still got all my equipment. I still got my router and my planer and my joiner and all my tools that I need.
Well, I the saw that you give me, I plan on staining like a dark oak, like a red
Yeah,
oak. But what
yeah.
I want to do first is the MI Timber Wookiee's wife does some awesome wood burning.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen her channel or Facebook, but she has some awesome wood burning, and I want her to put 39 camber across the main cross beam of the
Yeah,
saw before I stain it and everything. So
that's cool. That's one thing I need to invest into is a good little wood burner, so I can do some of that stuff when I'm selling them. I can personalize them a little bit. But that's why when I even when I give them away, I just put a couple of light coats of a light colored stain just for the protection, and that way you can always put something darker on it, or sand a little bit off and just totally redo it. So it leaves it open for the guy to customize it or make it their own. You know what I mean? Whether they're going to paracord wrap it or do whatever they want to do with it. Don't
yeah,
have to
exactly.
just have it.
Exactly, exactly. Everybody in the chat, thank you for all the awesome comments. Mutt, thank you. Kyle, thank you. Tony, everybody that's out there, supporting this, thank you so much. And Mr. Kyle Gunderson in the
Yep.
chat there, I went to high school with him. He
Oh,
must,
really?
yep, he must have just started a YouTube channel. So he does a lot of hiking and everything, and I think
Oh,
he just got a hammock. I don't know if it was a Hennessy hammock or something. He does a lot of hiking and goes up to deer camp up in Michigan there with his family. Has a good time. Kyle, I hope you get some videos up put up there. But a reminder to everybody, please go through the comments, and if you don't have somebody subbed in the comments, please
yeah.
go through and sub these people.
I
Um,
just I just subbed your buddy out as his first subscriber, Kyle.
yeah, he does. I just subbed him too because we talk on Facebook or whatever or text or whatever, and so
Hey, we'll have to
hopefully,
get him camping with us, bud.
yep, we'll get him up there. We'll inspire him to make some videos.
Yes. Show him
There we
what
go.
fun it is.
Because I love when people make videos. I love watching people's videos. Um,
Oh yeah. I've always got right now. I think I got like 45 videos in my watch laters list.
and there's not enough time in the day to watch everybody's videos, but yeah, it's great to watch people's
Yeah.
videos.
I put them in there, and when there's nothing new, there's nothing that just came out. Of course, which is quite often at times. I'll sit and watch videos that I put in my watch later list a day or two ago. And it usually takes me a couple of days to do them all. I watch a lot of YouTube. I try to watch a lot of it. I don't watch TV. This is my TV. My wife
Yeah.
watches TV. I'll watch a movie once in a while, but yeah. If I want to look at the weather, I'll look it up online.
I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this interview and everything like this real quick before I only have like one more really big question for you, John. But the
Yeah.
reason I'm doing it is I wanted to, after the campfire chat, I wanted to start on a project where I did interviews with YouTubers, people that we watch every day, like you, Wyndham Woodcraft, Pennsylvania Shane, I mean, Donnie Pavoloni, I mean, people that we watch all the time.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to start, and it's been in my project for a while. I wanted to start this project and go through and maybe get to know the YouTubers. That way people can watch and say, okay, I've been watching this person's video for I don't know nothing about them, or it's what's about them, and what better person to start with other than my good friend John up here in the Michigan wilderness here, you
I
know.
appreciate that, brother.
So that's great. I am so glad that you answered my call and decided to do this
Oh
because
yeah.
um, we got a total of 10 viewers. That is awesome.
Sweet.
And thumbs up from everybody. So There'll
Cool.
probably be a thumbs down in the video somewhere, but you always got that jerk that's gonna thumbs
Yeah.
down.
I had somebody thumbed down my EDC dump for you.
Yeah.
You know, they ain't got nothing better. They're just bored.
And you know the thing is, people have thumbed down giveaways.
Yeah,
When
they were
you're
unboxed.
Yeah, when you're giving away a bunch of free stuff to somebody,
Yeah,
why what what is there a thumbs down about that, you know?
yeah. Or you're opening a package from somebody to thank them. Because I will. I don't care if I got 1,000 unboxings. I'm gonna do 1,000 unboxing videos because I'm gonna show my appreciation to my friend that sent me that gift. Unless they don't want to, unless it's a private thing, they don't want it done.
Yeah.
I'm just that way. I that's a couple of my biggest things is respect back to people and helping others whenever I can and supporting their channels. I love supporting people. I love finding new channels. I just found another great bushcraft channel last night, and he's got like 8 or 10 videos, but he's only got like 4 subs, and I'm like, holy cow! I mean, this guy's got some pretty decent stuff. He's got some nice videos. So my next video I do, he'll be probably in my shoutouts. I got a list of them that I got to do shoutouts, but I'm not going to sit here and just do a, a whole shoutout video. I want to have some content and then throw a couple, 2 or 3 in there at the end.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I always gotta everybody's gotta go check out John's channels because there's always awesome new channels that he finds. He's like the metal detector of awesome YouTube channels.
I love it, man. It's great, though. I really do. It's awesome.
the
So many
metal
people.
Yeah, the metal detector of awesome YouTube channels. I've found so many cool channels because of a shout out, and they've only been like, what, 5 subs or 20 subs or something like that. And it's like, man, people got to know about this channel.
I try to find them under. I try to keep them under 50. Sometimes I go up to 100, and then once in a while I'll throw one in there that's over 100 because for a special reason or whatever, where they'll PM me and ask me if I'll do a shout out for them. So I do a shout out for them if I feel if they're one of my followers and one of my subs, and they make videos and they communicate with everybody back and forth, and they're worthy of a shout out. I'm going to give them a shout out. Show
Yeah.
my support.
So, John, what are your plans for your future YouTube, uh, future YouTube, I don't know, time or what do you want to call it? Do you have
Yeah,
any
my
specific
future.
big plans?
Um, a whole lot more camping this year. Um, even if I got to go by myself, solo's cool sometimes. I like it. It's really relaxing. But it's always better when you have friends and always have company. It's always better. Yeah, I'm doing a lot more meetups, and I want to try to get some more woodworking videos in there. I'd like to start doing some more in the spring when it warms up. Start showing, just bits and pieces. And the biggest thing I want to do is learn how to edit. And if I got to pay somebody to come here and walk through it, then that's what I got to do because I just don't. I'm not technology advanced when it comes to this stuff. I never was. Like I said, I never had. This is the first laptop I ever owned, and I've only had it for 3 years. And I've been making videos for a year, and I see people out there that's their first, second video, and they've got some awesome editing skills already. And I've got a few people that I'm sub to. I know a couple for sure. That's the reason why they don't watch my videos because they're not all edited and fancy, and I know it is because I've heard them say it before, not so many words, but in other comments, and it's like, well, this is me, and this is what you get, and this is how I do things. So you either like me, I guess, or you don't like me. I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy crap, we got Mr. Scooty in the house here.
Mr. Scooty.
Good morning, my friend. We also have Jerry Pruitt.
Gary.
Yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute. Are you able to see the comments?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take a couple minute break here and I'll be.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to see all you guys out here. Awesome beans. Awesome, awesome. Hope everything's going good for everybody. Oh, great channels out here. I can shout yous all out, man. Mutt, Jerry Pruitt, Mr. Scooty, Joe Sweatman, Jeep from Urban to Country Homestead, Kyle, STI Tony. Mr. Scooty says, editing, I got to learn how to film properly. Good one. I think you do an awesome job. I can sit and listen to you all day, brother. You do an awesome job on your videos. You're chatting. It's like being there, like having a conversation with you. Yeah, I'd like to learn how to edit. I really would. I had somebody, matter of fact, Mark Scouting Free made my intro video for me, so that was very nice of him. Did a very nice job. Yeah, if you're not subbed to somebody out here, go ahead and sub them up, guys. I appreciate it. And gals, if you're out there, uh, give them a sub. Sub them back. Let's make this community grow.
Well, I think I am back. I don't know if I'm back. Well,
Not just rambling.
there we go. I can see myself now. Had to take a little intermission there for a minute.
Ah,
But last, I wanted to keep this interview here about half hour, 45 minutes, but I see that it's going to take well, since this is my first one, it's going to take about an hour,
flew by so far, I think.
with talking and everything. So the last, I'm probably going to end this at 7:30, but the last here is questions. And if anybody out there has questions for John, um, we we can put up our questions now, and I'll try to record as much as I can here. So while we're waiting, any new gear?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I have got a. We have our Christmas this time of year for me and my wife. It's Christmas we have for the grandkids. So we try to make sure we take care of them first, and then tax time we splurge a little bit. So yeah, I got some stuff coming. You got my new hammock. It's not a Hennessy and it's not a DD, but I really like it. And I got a new tarp because the one I have is probably 3 years old and all the eyelids are ripping out of it. And some trinket there. I bought me get me a new headlamp and just a few things like that.
That's cool. That's cool. Any new cooking stuff?
No. Well, I got a little stand for my propane stove, which I probably won't use that much anyway this year. Um, I got that Siva 123 stove that I got given from a friend, and I'll try cooking with that. And I want to do I want to do an overnighter with just the MI Timberwolkie stove. Cook all my food and everything on that.
Yep.
So get a little review on that for them. And Yeah, I've been looking for an axe and or a hatchet, similar like what you got, that size head, but a smaller handle. I want it like a mini hatchet,
Okay.
and I cannot find one anywhere. I've been looking, and then who wants to spend $185 on Grand First Brooks axe? I can't see it.
Now, I know there's going to be a lot of haters out there for me saying this, and if you're hating on it, you're just going to have to hate on it. But that Gerber, that small Gerber Bear Grylls hatchet
Uh,
is an awesome little hatchet. It is
is that the
razor.
real short one with the blade in the back of it, the saw?
No, it doesn't have any of that. That's the Gerber one. This one is just the small Bear Grylls survival hatchet. It's got the orange rubber handle like the knives, and it's really thin profile, but it's like very very short, very sharp, and you can do some. You can do some fine cutting with it.
Kind of like the Fiskars
Um,
on that order.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that one. But as far as a budget thing, if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money and you want something, compact, packable, or whatever,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
I got a couple. I got one hatchet, but it's a full size hatchet. And, it's not that big, but it's heavier than the one I want. I want something lighter so I can use it more easier with one hand with less, burning up less calories. You know what I'm saying? Because an axe or a hatchet, you're going to spend energy.
Yeah.
You got to swing it, you got to put it into it. So, but I just, matter of fact, who had one that was really nice and a perfect size, and he'd give it away to somebody, was Chris Wyndham Woodcraft. Remember that little tiny hatchet he always carried on his belt when he was first starting out?
Oh, not really. Was it the synthetic one?
Nope, it was old wooden handle. I need to ask him next time I see him what hatchet that was, because that's exactly what I'm looking for.
I happen to have a Axe King hatchet,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
and that's going to be my primary thing. But going out, this is my experience. It's like when me and you, all three of us, went out camping and everything. I really didn't use the axe or the hatchet other than splitting wood. You know,
Right, exactly.
with a hatchet, you're not going to split logs with a hatchet like bigger logs. You get it in there and then you baton
Right.
it through and everything. But
And that
basically,
worked out.
yeah, that's what I'd use it for. I use a saw a lot more than I'd use a hatchet.
Yeah, yep. I'm a saw guy.
Yeah, I got to figure out a little sheath to make for the blade for the saw you made me. So when I take it apart, I already figured out a carrying case for it. But I
Uh,
want to make a little sheath for the saw blade so it's not cutting on anything when I carry it.
well, I don't know if they sell them or not, Daryl, but I know sometimes when you buy a certain type of blade, I don't remember what brand it was, it comes like with a little thin plastic snap-on cover.
Okay, or even sometimes they come in with a slide-in cover. Okay.
Yeah, yep, yep. That's how I got these blades I got from you for survival. He sent me last week with that ice fishing pole, and one of them I think is 30 inch. So I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna make me a monster buck saw this year.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. Yeah,
yeah, a two-person,
yeah, 2-man buck saw.
two-man buck saw.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to use that.
yeah,
Cut some big old oak trees up.
that's right.
Yep, yep, yep. Well, John, we're at the 7:30 mark, and I am so glad that you decided to join the interview. And thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. That was pretty cool. First time I ever did this.
Yeah, well, it's really my first interview, so
There we
um,
go.
for anybody that doesn't know or anybody that has me on Facebook, my wife made fun of me, and the reason why she made fun of me was I was writing down interview questions for this interview, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing down questions." Questions for what? I said, questions for an interview. And she was like, "Why would you write down questions for an interview?" And I was like, duh, because I'm famous. And so, just playing around, goofing around with her, she has to post that crap on Facebook, like I'm famous or whatever. But no, that's what that was all about. And everybody out there in the comments, thank you so much for joining. I have 11 we had 11 viewers, and I want to maybe do another interview. I think
Yeah,
this one went pretty well.
yeah,
So all you out there that are sub to me, if you have an idea of a person that you want me to interview, send me a message, not on here, but send me a private message. That way, it's like stored, and I can look at it later and everything.
yeah,
And I will go through that and see who is willing to participate. I got
yeah,
tagged for an EDC pocket dump, and well, I tagged you
yeah,
and tagged the Wookie and and everybody seemed willing to participate. So I just want people that are willing to participate. That's all the fun in this whole YouTube thing is participation. So
yeah. Yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching and joining us too. It's very cool. All great people. We've got a couple new subs out of the deal people that I sub to, like Kyle. So I think everybody else I already had. No, matter of fact, I got a sub SKS Hugo. There you go, SKS. I just gave you a sub, brother.
did I have that? I think I have that one. Or yeah, or he wouldn't have found the chat if I didn't have it.
Yeah, Mutt, you could be next, buddy. You never know, brother.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Get on here. Send your interview requests in right now. It's
Get your
dirt it's dirt cheap in a low package of 19.95.
PayPal accepted.
Yep. It's all form of currency.
Yeah.
So everybody, I'm getting off here. I'm stopping the broadcast. So peace out, guys.
Take care, everybody.